Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift Ogete. In our major story, another gory day as bomb blast in Yobe and Kano leaves 22 dead. President Goodluck Jonathan condemns bomb blast in Yobe and Kano, describes it as a sign of desperation. Also in this program, House Assembly ends in confusion as motion against Joseph has been supported. Ex-Niger Delta militants insist INEC must be given free hand to conduct polls. Thanks for staying tuned with us. Now details of the headlines and other stories. The police in Kano have confirmed the death of 12 persons, including 2 suicide bombers in Tuesday's bomb attack on the Kano Line Motor Park. Commissioner of Police Ibrahim Idris told journalists at the bomb scene that the bombers entered terminal with a mini bus under the pretext of looking for passengers. The bombers, who were said to be between the ages of 17 and 19, detonated the bombs as soon as the bus was filled. The incident happened at about 3 p.m.
This afternoon, we had a bomb blast, and by the time we rushed here, we discovered that there was a bomb blast at this Kano line in Kofa Nasarawa area in Kano State, and in Kano City. So far, we've conducted just some preliminary investigation on the site, while detailed investigation will continue. What we have found out so far at the moment is that, as you can see, it involves 3 vehicles: a Sharon bus, a second bus, and a car, a golf car. We estimated that about 12 people have died in this blast. And from the information we gathered at the scene, it seems that the bombers, 2 of them, these 12 included 2 bombers. It seems that the 2 bombers came in that Sharon car as passengers from outside the city. So they came in, they are driven as passengers. In the process of moving out of the vehicle, after arriving at the motor park, that's the time they detonated the bomb. As I indicated, investigation is ongoing, and obviously you are going to be available of further development.
Another suicide bombing has again occurred in a commercial bus in Potiskum, Yobe State, attacking a bus. The suicide bomber was said to have disguised as a passenger to get onto the bus before detonating, killing scores of people. 10 persons, including the male suicide bomber, have been confirmed dead following the bomb blast, and their bodies deposited at the town's general hospital and the mortuary. Potiskum has suffered several bomb attacks in recent times, and this latest attack is coming 2 days after another suicide bombing allegedly by a 7-year-old girl. President Goodluck Jonathan has described Tuesday's suicide bomb attacks as a sign of desperation by Boko Haram. He also commiserated with the families of victims of the bomb attacks, which he tagged callous acts. President Jonathan said in a statement in Abuja that the decision to bomb soft targets is a sign that the insurgents are fleeing the impact of the counter-insurgency operation of the Nigerian Army Forces and their regional allies. He also assured all Nigerians and the people of the northeastern states that the days of mourning victims of incessant terrorist attacks in the country will soon be over. These, according to him, is because the tide has now turned against the Boko Haram. President Jonathan noted that his administration will continue to take steps to guarantee the success of ongoing military operations against the group, as well as reduce its ability to recruit, groom and brainwash young persons for suicide bombing on soft targets. The House of Representatives has held the military and the federal government on the current efforts in combating insurgency in the northeast. The federal lawmakers also commended troops for retaking Baga and other towns previously occupied by Boko Haram insurgents. Raising a motion at Tuesday's plenary, a member from Borno State, Taha Monguno, says the military authorities deserve commendation for liberating Monguno and other towns in the northeast. He, however, urged the military to sustain the current success used in tackling the insurgents. Other lawmakers also supported the motion, saying it is necessary to encourage the military on its current efforts at securing lives and property in the northeast. The House also commended President Goodluck Jonathan for playing a good role in the recent achievement of the military in the fight against insurgency. The federal legislators noted that the success of the military operations will enhance the credibility of the rescheduled general elections. The All Progressives Congress has lauded the efforts of the Nigerian military and its recent victories against the Boko Haram insurgents. On the other hand, the APC berated President Goodluck Jonathan for allowing the Boko Haram menace to fester, leading to the deaths of over 15,000 Nigerians and the displacement of over 3 million others in the past 6 years. The party made the statements through its National Publicity Secretary Alhaji Lai Mohammed in London. The party also hailed the military for the successes it has recorded in the battle against Boko Haram in recent times, saying the string of victories confirms the party's stance that the Nigerian military can hold its own anyway and anytime, provided with the necessary equipment and if the morale of the troops is not undetermined. APC says the president, who has deliberately allowed the Boko Haram crisis to fester because he and his team saw it as their trump card for winning re-election in 2015 by currying local and global sectarian sympathy with a crop-killing Christians narrative that totally distorts the facts that Boko Haram is a band of masquerades who have no consideration for ethnicity, regionalism, religion or any other thing beyond the mad disposition to terror. The APC Presidential Campaign Organization has challenged the federal government and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency NIMASA to account for the 800 million and 50 billion naira of the Cabotage Vessel Finance Fund. It also demanded for a list of beneficiaries if indeed the agency disbursed funds in line with the nation's law. The party's campaign team alleged that the fund was money derived from the two for all contracts under the sabotage or cabotage regime is now being used for non-shipping purposes. Its spokesman, Garba Shehu, said in a statement that Nigerians deserve to know what happened to the money accumulated under the CVFF fund. This, he noted, is against the backdrop of claims that the fund might have been diverted for other purposes like campaign for the PDP presidential candidate. The Federal High Court in Abuja has referred another suit challenging the eligibility of President Goodluck Jonathan for the 2015 elections to the appeal court. The suit is seeking legal clarification on the actual number of years President Goodluck Jonathan and his deputy Namadi Sambo have spent in office. Ruling on the matter on Tuesday, Justice Ahmed Mohammed relied on the provision of Sections 295 subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution. He held that the appellate court is in a position to give interpretations to Sections 135 and 137 of the Constitution as they relate to tenure of the office of the President. Justice Mohammed noted that the questions that were posed before the court for determination by the plaintiffs were the same in content and facts with the suit earlier referred to the Court of Appeal for judicial interpretation. None of the parties opposed Mohammed's decision to shift the matter to the appellate court for determination. Three lawyers, Ms. Acho, Sadiq Umar and Mortala Abubakar, had gone before the court to challenge the eligibility of President Goodluck Jonathan to stay in the office for another 4 years. The Lagos Federal High Court hearing the money laundering case against former Aviation Minister Femi Fani-Kayode has ordered the release of his passport by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on request. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, who was at the court hearing, filed in this report.
The court, presided over by Rita Ofili Ajumogobia, is still hearing 2 of the 40-count charges preferred against the former aviation minister from his time at the helm of affairs in the Ministries of Aviation and Culture and Tourism. The accused was said to have carried out financial transactions without going through due process or any financial institutions. He pleaded not guilty to the charges against him.
I'm very, very confident about the case. I've been through this many times before. I don't like to talk about matters that concern me in court. But again, since you asked, I'm very confident. We started at 19.5 billion. It was knocked down to 200 million naira, which I was accused of stealing, from 19.5 billion to 200 million, then to 100 million, then to 99 million, and now we're down to 1 million and 1.1 million naira. I'm accused of laundering. That's about $5,000 each, accused of laundering that. I've done absolutely nothing wrong. We have consistently protested our innocence in this matter. We're glad to be in court. I'm glad that we're now presenting our defense, and I'm very, very confident that this matter will be over soon and I'll be able to get my life back.
One of the lawyers to the accused, however, says justice has been served with the decision to release the passport of the accused from the EFCC's custody on request.
His international passport had been with the EFCC in the last 7 years or so, and we think he should be allowed to attend to some of his basic businesses. And we made an application which the court had graciously granted, with the court insisting, however, that whenever he wishes to travel, he should write to the court to let the court know exactly where he is going to. And we believe that is fair enough, since he does not intend to abscond. And so we'll comply with the order.
Prosecuting counsel Festus Keyamo, however, says nobody can downplay the 2-count charges against the accused.
They opened up with their first witness today, and I think I should cross-examine tomorrow, so I'm getting ready for that. The court actually held that there was a case in respect of those 2 counts. It's not me that said so, it's the court that said so. So that means there is some kind of prima facie evidence, and we are prepared to go on with that. And I'm sure you know too, that in the world of criminal law, 1 count is enough. I hope you know that. So nobody should downplay the fact that only 2 counts are remaining.
The hearing continues on Wednesday for further cross-examination of witnesses for the defense. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Various criticisms have greeted the release of the alleged Ekiti election rigging audio tape by military officer Saga Iko. The most recent of it is that of the PDP presidential campaign team spokesman Femi Fani-Kayode, as it questions the credibility of the audio tape. Fani-Kayode says nothing in the tape suggests elements of rigging the Ekiti gubernatorial elections as claimed by the All Progressives Congress, and that opposition parties should instead be accused of rigging.
We played that tape to the Nigerian public. We did a press conference in Abuja. We played the tape from beginning to end. And nothing that was said in that tape suggested by Fayose, by Obanikoro, by Adesion, the Honorable Minister for Police Affairs, and anybody else, nothing that was in that tape suggested there was any element of rigging or counsel to rig from any of those key people to the army officer or to any of the security officials there. Absolutely none. I would urge you and every single Nigerian that's interested to listen to that tape carefully from beginning to end. And you will find that there was nothing that was suspicious, nothing that was wrong. What they were saying, at least my understanding of it was this, what they were saying was they were urging the military, they were urging the soldiers, they were urging the police to ensure that they did a good job and to ensure that everybody was allowed to vote peacefully. And I don't believe there's anything wrong with that. So this thing that they keep on talking about, this Fayose tape, is absolute bunkum. I suggest people should listen to that tape. I would also suggest that people should also go and view the tape that we put out, where you saw APC supporters thumbprinting ballot papers in Osun State in support of Rauf Aregbesola. That was very clear, completely illegal. It was a criminal offense. We called for the police to investigate that, and we called for the APC to desist from behaving in that way. And so if you're looking for tapes that are incriminating, don't look towards Ekiti and Fayose, look towards the APC Osun State and the APC generally.
It's CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break. Stay with us.
I'm so happy every day because I'm healthy and strong. Playing, jumping, here I go. Scott's Emotion helps me grow.
A daily dose of Scott's Emotion, which combines omega-3, calcium, vitamins A and D, supports the healthy development of your child's brain and body. Scott's Emotion promotes active minds and strong immunity in growing children. New Scott's Orange Flavor Multivitamin Emotion.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. Now, if you're just joining us, a recap of our major headlines. Another gory day as bomb blast in Yobe and Kano leaves 22 dead. President Goodluck Jonathan condemns bomb blast in Yobe and Kano, describes it as a sign of desperation. House of Assembly plenary ends in confusion as motion against Joseph Mbutia's reps apart. Thank you for staying tuned. Now, do not forget that you can also catch us on our social media platforms. Well, on Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV News. Senators on Tuesday grilled the Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Musa Sada, on the 2014 budget performance when he showed up to defend the 2015 allocation. One after the other, members of the Senate Committee on Power, Mines and Steel picked holes in the last budget and wondered why the sector is not well developed. The lawmakers believe that now that the global oil market is witnessing a slump, Nigeria should be benefiting from its non-oil mineral resources.
Just move down, there's an earthquake in your country. Everybody's running a task. Look at the budget that is being brought here. This looks like a negative budget. I look at power and steel, I see some project 1.something million. It's funny. Making everybody look like a country of zombies. It's not good. It's not good. I'm not happy. These things are known. This diversification, these resources we have, we know they are there. And in most places, illegal miners are taking them away. Illegal miners are taking them away with even good method of extraction. We have to sit up and be serious in this country. We have to understand.
A situation where we consider a budget, have it approved, then somebody sits in an office and refuses to make releases. On the basis of that, Ministers and other agencies officials are made to award contracts. At the end of the day, releases are not made. Somebody declares that there is a surplus, and you tell me that there is an economy that is growing. It's simple planlessness, and this is frustrating, and this cannot go on.
The government has to put in money and do a lot more studies in the coal that we have. Because for you to be able to establish a power plant, you must know the size of the resource. When you are putting a power plant, you must even give it the age that it's going to last for 20 years. Then you must have resource enough to last for 20 years. And to be able to establish this information requires money. And the investors coming in will not simply invest money to acquire information. They want to invest money to start a business and start making money. So this particular, the advice also, government needs to invest in that particular aspect.
The plenary of the Federal House of Representatives became rowdy and tensed when members argued on a motion moved by Aliu Madaki to crop the perceived excesses of an Assistant Inspector General of Police Joseph Mbu, saying he should be relieved of any role in the conduct of the 2015 general elections. Madaki hanged his motion titled Violation of the Constitution and Disrespect for the Rule of Law by Assistant Inspector General of Police AIG Joseph Mbu on the utterances and actions of Mbu, which he says were at variance with the Constitution and provisions of the Electoral Act. Citing the governor's immunity clause in the Constitution, Madaki says Mbu allegedly directed all officers and men of his command to disregard any immunity being enjoyed by any governor, which action amounted to a violation of the Constitution. The House members entered into a shouting match when Linus Okorie challenged the motion on the grounds that Mbu was unavailable to defend himself. The noise grew deafening as House members would not let Okorie speak. In a bid to calm the situation, Emeka Hedioha, Deputy Speaker who presided over the sitting, moved for a voice vote on the matter. But the voice vote were not clearly defined, and Hedioha sent the motion to the Committee on Police Affairs for investigation. Mbu was later reported to have declared that for every policeman killed during the election, 20 civilians would be killed in return. He echoed similar sentiments last week during the inauguration of the Olorunshogo 2 power station last week by President Goodluck Jonathan. 11 former Niger Delta warlords have declared that they might be chaos in the region if general elections scheduled for March 28 and April 11th are not free and fair. They also moved to resist any attempt to deploy troops to intimidate eligible voters in the region before, during and after the elections. The former militants, who described themselves as the leaders of ex-militants in Nigeria, insisted that the leadership of the Independent National Electoral Commission must be given a free hand and the necessary support to conduct credible elections. They also rejected any pronouncement of a breakdown of law and order in the Niger Delta if a particular candidate does not win. The 11 ex-militants who personally signed the document include General Boni, Friday Monturu, Smart Amola, aka Gentle, General King Jerry, and General I.C. Olugbo. Others are Friday Edema, General Saturday M. Manuel, Sunday Amoma, Alfred Arieton, Commander Peter Asule. As the 2015 general elections fast approaches, the Nigerian Immigration Service has made known its commitment to ensuring a free and peaceful conduct of the general elections as it puts necessary measures in place to check illegal immigration. Speaking in Ilorin while parading illegal immigrants, the service reiterates its readiness to crop illegal immigration to the country, especially during this election around period. Rashid has more from Ilorin.
I don't tell this day for Kwara State. I don't pass like 10 years.
In Kwara State?
Yeah.
Where are you from? From which country?
I'm come from Niger.
Okay. From?
Ofa.
Are you born in Ofa?
No.
You are from which country?
For Niger.
Okay. Since when have you been in Ilorin?
Ilorin.
The Kwara State Immigration Command, paying cognizance to security situation in the country, has tightened the noose on illegal immigration in the country. Intercepting a truckload of illegal immigrants from Niger through Kaima-Benin border, the command's public relations officer stressed on the command's readiness to combat illegal migration.
During the raid this morning, our men noticed a lorry in a lorry, and quickly they stopped the lorry. After intercepting them, they discovered that the lorry is carrying some goods with about 46 Nigerians inside. We do a profiling, and from the profiling, we determine their nationality, and also they've all confessed to be from Niger. And I have to add this, that they do not have their travel documents. The next step is to return them back to their country.
As Immigration Service steps up security ahead of polls, it is expected that all security agencies take a cue and play their part in ensuring peace before, during and after the polls. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
President Goodluck Jonathan has described Second Republic Shehu Shagari as a committed patriot and an outstanding leader. He says the present administration will continue to count on the former president's support and solidarity. President Goodluck Jonathan also prayed for good health and long life in a congratulatory message to Alhaji Shagari on his 90th birthday, which comes up on Wednesday, February 25th. The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, has also congratulated former President Shehu Shagari on his 90th birthday. The former head of state said in a message he personally signed that the former president has always been shown him civility, even though he led the government that forced him out of office. Buhari also described Shagari as the grand old man of Nigerian politics, having been in the frame of public affairs since the colonial days. The leadership of the Oyo State House of Assembly has assured residents of a thorough scrutiny of the financial expenditure report for the 33 local government areas under caretaker supervision submitted to the House of the Editor General of each council. According to the Chairman, House Committee on Information and Orientation, Kolade Olagunju, the report, which has been submitted to the Public Accounts and Appropriation Committee, who will make their findings known to the public in 7 days.
And it's for the benefit of the populace. The reports have been submitted now, directed to the appropriate committee. So until the committee reports back, definitely I won't be able to have enough information to dish out. So let them finish their work, then we'll get back.
Civil society groups operating in the health sector have accused political office seekers of displaying a disregard for the sector. Partnership for Advocacy and Child and Family Health insists none of the leading political parties have been able to articulate an agenda for a better health sector in their manifestos. The coalition said at the media briefing in Abuja that it had reached that conclusion after a careful appraisal of the manifestos of all the political parties.
Coalition, so we are not advocating for anyone to say this is the person we want to be on the chair by May 29th. That's not our own issue, but we are advocating that whoever sits on that chair by May 29th, there should be a change in the way the government invests in the health sector, whether it's this government or another government, whoever sits. So that's our advocacy, and that's our message. That we need more funding in the health sector to address all the critical areas that have been mentioned today: immunization, nutrition, family planning, pneumonia, diarrhea, and other diseases.
It's not acceptable for Nigeria to be producing the most stunted children in Africa. And so what do? As advocates, we want to say yes. A lot of is going on for nutrition, for example, there's local food production. But why is it that for a country that is so blessed, the farmers are producing the food, but their children are most malnourished? It is for this, our gentlemen and ladies of the press to help us to ask those questions and to engage people, not just saying it's a government issue.
We cannot twist any Nigerian
to choose who they will vote for or who they will not vote for. That is not our aim. It is not our purpose. Yes, you mentioned that we said that we are non-partisan, and indeed that is what we are. If a civil society group today, that we are registered as civil society group today, and then tomorrow we will start becoming a party or pushing for a certain candidate to be voted for, then we have failed.
We are putting out the facts for people to see, to know what is happening in the country, to be able to engage, especially with the grassroots representatives on these issues. Put them on the table, ask our politicians what are they going to do about these issues of concern to us, and how are they going to do it. It is not only telling us that you are going to tackle nutrition or you are going to tackle childhood diseases. How are you going to do it? That is what we want our people to know.
It's CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break and return with business, sports, and stories outside Nigeria.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Now to business. The federal government, through the Assets Management Company of Nigeria, AMCON, on Tuesday says it has made arrangements to sell the Delta Steel Company to an automobile firm. The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Mohammed Sada, made this known when defending his ministry's 2015 budget before the Senate Committee on Power, Mines and Steel. Sada says, though the ministry was not involved in the sale, it was a closed partnership with AMCON, the government agency handling the sale. According to him, there are several letters written by several people that they are interested, but what interests us in the ministry is that those interested are people that are interested in automobile development. While clarifying issues, the minister said all pending issues have been resolved, explaining that AMCON had given the initial company the opportunity to pack back the loan, but the company was unable to do so, and the grace period had long elapsed. Delta Steel was a privately owned company. The company took loans from the local banks, and by Nigerian law, AMCON was put in place to make sure that banks do not fail. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has said it is coming up with a bill on telecommunications critical infrastructure and the real enhanced quality service delivery in the telecommunications sector. This was disclosed by the NCC Executive Vice Chairman, Eugene Jua, while defending the 2015 budget estimates of the Communications Regulatory Agency before the Senate Committee on Communications. Jua says, when passed into law, it will curtail vandalism of telecommunication infrastructure and fiber cuts due to road network, shutting off services by the state government, rights of ways, restriction as well as planning permit restrictions. The bill will also improve the quality of service in the telecom sector. According to Jua, the capital budget expenditure profile of the agency for the year 2014 was 15 billion naira. Its 2015 capital budget proposal is 21.1 billion naira. Estimated budget expenditure for special projects by the Commission for the year 2015 is 2.1 billion, as opposed to the 3.1 billion expended in 2014. I disclosed that a very key capital project the agency would be embarking upon this year is the broadband project, which has made the agency award licenses for Lagos and Abuja for provision of metropolitan. Now time to join Sabina Izuku for Stock Market Report.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabena Izoku. The equity transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended with gains again after 6 days ending on a positive note as the Nigerian All Shares Index appreciated by 1.18% to close at 30,145.60 basis points. The market capitalization increased in the same manner to close at 10.05 trillion naira. In all, the total volume 277.3 million units of shares valued at 3.78 billion naira were exchanged in 4,401 deals. Seplat Oil topped the gainers chart to close at 460 naira with 14 naira 47 price difference, followed by Nestle, Capstone, Julius Berger and Unilever. On the flip side, Total Oil topped the losers chart, followed by Okomo Oil, International Breweries, National Salt Company of Nigeria and United Africa Company of Nigeria Property. Meanwhile, PZ Carson topped the traders chart, followed by First Bank of Nigerian Holdings, Transcorp, United Bank for Africa, and Zenith Bank. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Thank you so much, Sabina. Well, we'll take a break, and when we return, we'll bring you sports stories. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
And now from the world of sports, Nigeria under-17 team captain Kelechi Nwakali has rallied his mates to give undivided attention to their opponent South Africa in Wednesday's CAF Under-17 African Championship semi-final clash. The Golden Eaglets of Nigeria have qualified for the FIFA Under-17 World Cup like their South African counterparts, but now want to reach the final of the African tournament for a second successive edition. Nwakali has now made it clear that the Nigerian squad is focused on their outing in Niger Republic, including the semi-final clash with South Africa. He dismissed talks of football agents raiding around the camp of the team as distraction. Kanu Pillars head coach Oke Emodi has said his side will not defend against South Sudan champions Al Malakai in the CAF Champions League first round second leg clash on Saturday in Kanu. The Nigerian champions defeated Al Malakai 2-0 in the first leg 2 weeks ago in Juba, South Sudan. Emodi said his side will go all out for a convincing victory to prove to all that their first leg victory in Juba was not a fluke. We are going to engage the South Sudanese side, Al Makalai, in 90 minutes attacking football, Emodi concluded. The 2022 World Cup in Qatar should take place in November and December. FIFA Task Force has recommended. Key football officials met in Doha to discuss a number of options following fears of summer. A summer event would endanger the health of players and fans. Qatar temperatures in June and July can exceed 40 degrees centigrade. Task Force Chief Sheikh Salman bin Ibrahim also recommended that the 2022 tournament should be shortened by a few days, but there are no plans to reduce the size of the tournament from 32 teams or 64 matches. The recommendations is expected to be ratified by the Executive Committee of World Football's governing by the next month. The news will upset some of Europe's top leagues. who preferred an April-May option to minimize disruption of their own domestic programs. The other date under consideration was January to February, but that raised the prospect of a clash with the Winter Olympics. And now outside Nigeria, South Korea and the United States will begin 8 weeks of joint military drills starting March 2. Military officials said on Tuesday. This is an annual exercise that provokes heightened military threats from North Korea. An annual exercise regularly protested by North Korea, which it says are a rehearsal for war, and has recently stepped up its own air, sea and ground military exercises. Tuesday's statement by the joint U.S.-South Korean Combined Forces Command said the North Korean Army had been informed of the dates and non-provocative nature of the exercises on Monday. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un told his Korean People's Army commanders to focus on combat readiness this year, according to state media. In 2013, following its third nuclear test, North Korea declared the armistice agreement that ended in 1950 to 1953 war as invalid in response to the exercises. The U.S. responded with long-range nuclear-capable B-2 bomber flight over the Korean peninsula, and the show of force, it said, was designed to show U.S. ability to conduct long-range precision strike quickly and at will. That's it on our news for tonight. But before we go, a recap of our major headlines. Another gory day as bomb blast in Yobe. Well, we also told you that President Goodluck Jonathan condemns bomb blast in Yobe and Kano. He describes it as a sign of desperation. You also heard that the House of Assembly plenary ended in confusion as motion against Joseph Mu tears the reps apart. And that's our show for tonight. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Gift or Gete. Have a lovely night rest.